All right, we have quite a lot of stuff that I want to show off today that's going to be coming in this next patch. So at the start of the stream here, I'm going to talk about some of the features that are more game mechanics. And then I have some tables, as you can see, laid out in front of me. And there's some stuff on those tables that I will be talking about as kind of the stream progresses here. So to start off with, we've released some images showing some of the new items we're working on, and a few of those we've released, some of them we haven't released yet. But like I mentioned, I want to start off with some game mechanics first. So one of the things we've been working on as far as a game is to try to find this balance between a typical arcade style shooter that's all completely twitch based reaction, and kind of the other extreme is something that's more like DayZ, that is a lot of people classify it as clunky, but it's just a lot more involved, and some of the times can actually detract from gameplay a lot depending on the situation. So what we're trying to do is come up with some gameplay mechanics. It's kind of a nice balance between different systems like that. And so one of the things we've done is we've added this lower and weapon raise system that you've probably seen in some of the other games. And that'll be coming out in this next patch. And it's going to be a little bit of a change to combat. And so that's why we want to do a stream, is to talk about the way it's going to work and give you kind of a video demo here of it. All right, so when you start off with, your weapons are all lowered now. And so there's kind of this non-threatening stance when you're holding a weapon. And by default, if you press tab, then it raises your weapon up. So you can kind of see it goes into this combat stance now. And the same goes with your fists. You have lowered fists, you hit tab, and it goes up into kind of your raised stance for your fists. And all the weapons work the same way now. So that way, if you're in a combat situation, you're coming up on another player in the game, you can ask them to lower their weapon so they're not as threatening. Right now in the game, if you watch a lot of the streamers, what they'll do is they'll have to put their guns away and put it on their back, and this way should just make it a lot more fluid. So in first person view, you can kind of see it the same. It's down, and then when I hit tab, it brings it up. And the same with your fists. There's your fists up, and then they go back down to your side. So that's one of the changes to the combat mechanics in the game now, is the different raise and lower stances. Now, quite a lot of the weapons, if you're lowered down, some of them will auto raise, but a lot of the weapons, let me see here if one of these will do it. Let me go to this one. Yeah, okay. So right now my weapon's lowered at my side. So I'm running around with my pistol. It's lowered down. And now when I go to fire it the first time, it goes into raise stance automatically, so I can fire. And since I didn't manually go into the raised stance, what'll happen is after a few seconds, it'll actually go back down to lower stance, and there it goes away by itself. So if you hit tab, you can force the stance, and it'll stay in the upper stance, the raise stance. But if you perform a hostile action, it'll go into raise stance for you, and then it'll go away automatically after a certain amount of time. So that's kind of the raise lower system that's in the game. And like I said, this will be a little bit of a change from the current combat in the game. So just be aware of it when you're in combat, that if you're going to be in a combat situation, it would be best to hit your tab key, bring your weapon up, and then walk around.
So question about speed for the stances.
Okay. Yeah, concerning speed, there is a speed difference. Let me show you here. So with your weapon lowered, you move at the normal run speed in the game, not sprint, but the normal run speed. And then if you bring your weapon up, you actually slow down. So that might be a little bit hard to see there. So raised, lowered, raised, and then lowered. So there is a speed difference as well. So if you're chasing after somebody, you'll want to lower your weapon and run after them fast, and then you can raise your weapon and fire out of them. Essentially is what it comes down to. Okay. So that's kind of the raise lower weapon system. A few other little details we've been working on. If your player looks up and down, you can actually see your character's head move now in the game. Little fun details like that. So he actually looks up and down. So even with some of the other weapons, so you can actually see him looking up and down now. So we're working on adding just some more little fun details like that in the game. Then another thing we've added are a lot of the bushes in our game move, and up until now there wasn't any sound effects for those. And now any of the bushes in the game that actually move, some of them don't move yet, but the ones that do move, there's actually a sound effect as you move through them. And I'm going to be quiet here, so hopefully you can hear this on stream. So hopefully you can hear that. I'm not sure if you can hear that or not. And the plan eventually is to have pretty much all the vegetation in the game move as players move through it. I was actually watching a stream yesterday. I forget who it was, and it was by the fire station in Pinecrest, and there was a player in the bushes. And if you looked closely, you could actually see the player moving inside the bush and see the bush moving. And the streamer didn't realize where he was at. He didn't notice the bush was moving when the player was moving inside. But the sounds will help with that as well. Because now there'll be not only the bushes will move, but the sounds will actually play as the player goes through the bushes. I'm going to drop my bat here. The shotgun. So I just want to give you another example of the raise and lower. So this is the normal lower speed, the lower stance. You're kind of non-threatening. You hit tab and you bring it up, and you notice the speed's down a lot more now. I lower it, and so on. All right. Yeah, another thing we've added, there's a lot of things we've added in this patch, so a lot of this will kind of just be off the cuff as I think of it, or one of my teammates just reminded me. So we did add a focus zoom feature in the game. If you've played Arma, you're familiar with this. You hold down the right mouse button, and so you kind of get this focus zoom effect now as you're running around. So that's another feature that's in the game now that got added. Okay. All right. So we've added a lot of items in this next patch. A lot of those will be kind of variations of existing items, and some of them are actually new items, and I'll show those as I go on. So one of those we've added are camouflage sets. So we have a hunter set, a hex set is what it's called, a woodland set, and a desert set of camo. So you can actually get the kind of a whole set of all these different camos sets in the game. And I'll go ahead and put some of these on, just kind of show you what they look like here. Let's see. So these are some of the camo sets you'll be able to find now. And like I said, there's 4 different versions of them in the game, but kind of complete sets there. All right. So to show you some of the variety in the game, these are some new gloves we've added. They're wool gloves, and these are the different colors that will be in this next patch, just of the gloves alone. And as time goes on, we'll definitely be adding more and more variations of existing items as well. But this is just one set of gloves, the different colors you'll be able to get. All right. Moving on to the next table. I think some people saw the picture of this already. Let me drop this. So here's a fire axe we've added. Again, the lowered stance, and then the raised stance for it. The fire axe, it'll do more damage to players in the game, and it'll also harvest wood faster. So if you have a hatchet, if you can find an axe, it'll be more efficient if you're chopping down trees. Essentially, it spawns the wood in faster as you're hitting the tree. It does do more damage to AI as well in the game. All right, I'll just kind of drop some of this stuff as I go here. I want to show you this as well. So for and I apologize, the chem light isn't quite right, so ignore that. But so I'll show you in a minute, but we've added like sound effects to throwing now, a few things like that. Lots of little details in the game. They'll be coming this next patch. Get rid of my fists here. Okay, vegetables. Long-term plan for the game is we want to definitely have some type of a farming system in the game. But we do have these vegetables that have been made by one of the artists on the team. And so in the next patch, you'll actually see these spawn in a lot of the places where food currently does as well. There's a small chance that these will spawn in. And so just kind of add more variety. And then eventually when we have a farming system in the game somehow, then we'll probably remove these as actual spawn items, except for in a few locations, and you'll be able to grow these instead. So more variety there with items. Okay, here's some of the new items we're adding. So we've added balaclavas in the game to your player now. Let me lose my hat here. And we do have some issues with clipping, as you can see, that we'll work on fixing. So we have these balaclavas we've added. There's 5 different colors of these. They'll be in the next patch as well. So that's a new item. They'll be coming in. I'll kind of glance here at I'm trying to watch Twitch chat. If you have any questions, I know we have several developers in chat, but if you have any questions, go ahead and ask, and I'll try to look at those once in a while as well, and just to see. Here's another new item, the gas mask. They'll be coming in the next patch. Currently, right now, it's only for cosmetic. In the future, this will be needed for certain areas of the game as well. Okay. Need an icon for that still. One of the things I do want to mention, I forgot to mention the first, is the third-person camera system. There were some changes that were made in this patch as well that really smooths out the third-person camera. It's a lot smoother and a lot more responsive than it was in the prior versions. I was watching Dakota earlier today on a stream, and he even mentioned the camera. He's like, I sure wish they would improve this. So if you're around Dakota, you got your wish. It was already done though, so sorry. But it's definitely a lot more responsive now in the game. The third-person camera is. I'm just running around here for a second so you can kind of see. Okay. All right. Some of the new items that'll be in as well. We've added some crafting items to the game. Some of the crafting components, there's rope, there's barbed wire, there's an empty bottle over there. And you'll be able to make this was in the image as well, you'll be able to craft this horseshoe backpack. And then with the barbed wire, you'll be able to create these barbed wire pieces for your base that you'll be able to put on the base, and they actually do damage as well if you hit them just right, and they'll also block players. It also looks cool. Okay, and then one of the things you'll be able to craft as well is the Molotov cocktail. So this thing here, and I have a table set up down here, and I'll demonstrate that to you in a minute. But that'll be coming in the next patch as well as a crafted item. So in the world, there will be empty bottles that will spawn, and use empty bottles and combine with a couple other items to make a Molotov. And that'll be a default recipe that everybody will be able to get as well. So right now, the Molotov, this is definitely something we're going to work on extending and enhancing over time. So right now, it almost works like a little mini frag grenade. So I'll kind of show you here. So I blew up the ATV, and it has a nerve effect as well on it. So it'll actually, just kill things close to the impact point. Let's see. I think I already threw these. So anyway, I was going to throw one, but I can't pick one of those up right now. I'm running in the editor. I'm not running in real game mode. But they'll actually explode if they hit anything in the game. So if you hit another player with them, they'll explode when they hit the player. And if you hit, the terrain or a tree or anything, it'll explode when it hits an item. So you'll be able to use these if somebody's hiding on another side of a wall, for example, in a base. You'll be able to lob a molotov over and try to kill them that way. Just be aware they do explode the very first thing they hit. So if you throw them at your feet, you're going to have a bad time.
I'm going to
So
mention the AI with VoIP.
yeah, so Chris just reminded me that another thing that will be coming in this next patch is if you use VoIP chat in game to talk, it will actually attract the AI. So it will alert the AI, and the AI will come find you. So just be aware of that. That is another change in the game for the next patch is the AI with the VoIP. So just be aware of that when you're playing, and you need to be a little bit more careful when you're talking on VoIP if there's AI around, because if you're in a house, they'll come in the house. Okay, let's see. I saw somebody in chat mention shaders. Let me talk a little bit about shaders. So in a prior patch, we mentioned, I think it was in patch 25, we mentioned that we're in the process of collecting all the different combination of shaders. And let me kind of explain what shaders are. So a shader is essentially just instructions that the game engine uses to draw anything. So to draw the table, the glass, the mutants, and all the different combinations with lighting effects and particle effects and smoke and fog and so on and so on. And so there are thousands of combinations of these shaders that are used in our game. I think we're up to about 5,000 right now in the game. And so in patch 25, that patch, it's actually anytime that anybody has played our game that has needed a new shader. So if you're playing the game, you see little subtle stalls in the game, and sometimes they're not so subtle. They'll be 5 or 10 seconds. It's actually submitting those back to us so we know what shaders you guys have needed. And I'm going up here and find my baseball bat for a reason in a second. So it's been submitting all those to us, and so we've taken all those shaders from you guys that have been playing the game, and we've compiled all those now into a kind of a pre-cached set of shaders. And in this next patch, we'll be including all of those. There's about 5,000 variants, as I mentioned, that will be in there. And so hopefully that will greatly reduce all those little stalls and stutters that you guys are experiencing. And over time, we'll just keep adding and adding to that list of shaders. And so we'll monitor after this next patch, but it should be a lot better. One of the other things we've been working on is, if you guys have played the game, you know this baseball bat currently in game is horizontal across the player's back. So trying to clean up some of the, just kind of the things that look odd in the game. So the baseball bat will actually look right on the player's back again.
It's a question about the rain coming back.
The axe as well now will fit on the player's back correctly. So some of the ones on the player's side still have a visible issue, but we'll be working on those over time as we start cleaning these up. Somebody was asking about the rain, I got told. So it will be coming back along with the weather system. We just need to fix the issue with the flickering fog. So we had that issue if you played the game where the fog would flicker. And so we just need to finish fixing that. That will be coming back. Definitely coming back. Yeah, let me talk about the item system. So we're still working on the item system in parallel with all of the other stuff. So just because we're doing all of this stuff doesn't mean the item system isn't being worked on as well. The item system, though, it's a pretty massive change. It'll probably be the biggest one we've ever made to the game. So the new item system will bring the storage in. There's all kinds of features we're waiting on. The reload system's waiting on it. Being able to split items, combine items, stack items, item durability, all that stuff will be coming in with the new item system when it gets rolled out. So we'll keep you updated in patch notes. That will be coming, but it's still a work in progress. It's pretty major. Yeah, reload button will be coming in the same. What's the range of the VoIP attracting AI? I believe the VoIP range is 40 meters, and I wasn't the one that actually enabled that feature, so I assume it's the same. I assume it's probably around 40 meters from the player. If somebody knows for sure, they can type that in chat. On what hardware am I playing right now? I'm actually running in the editor right now. Um, so this isn't even in the client. This isn't the optimized version, but I'm running on a 970 right now. Is what I'm running in the editor. Let me. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. No, I don't think it's going to show you. Anyway, I am. Yeah, I don't want to mess things up here, but I am running in the editor. This isn't the client, so it isn't nearly as optimized as the real build. In fact, let me demo this for you really fast. I'll just jump out the editor, and I just need to delete one of these. See if I can hit him here. No, missed him. Anyway, if like I mentioned, if you hit the AI, it'll actually explode on impact. So I just want to see here. There you go. Anyway, so that's the way the molotovs work. The storage containers I just answered. That's part of the new item system. So some of the other things that will come in the next patch. There's quite a few people that have rented servers now. I think we might be up to almost 20 or so servers that people have rented. There are some fixes in the next patch to help with stability on those servers. And so every update we'll just be working on, kind of improving those over time as well, getting those as stable as we can. Yeah, it's a Molotov that acts like more like a grenade right now. We'll work on that over time though. GTX 960 enough to max out the game. I think you'd be pretty well with a 960. Okay. So yeah, this, as I mentioned, this next patch will have those pre-compiled shaders in it.
You want to mention the
Okay.
map at all?
So I got the question about in-game map, I assume. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. We are working on having an in-game map as well as an item. So that it won't be in this next patch, but that's something we're working on as well. I will just say I'm not going to give very many details, but there's a new weapon system we're working on as well that will be tied into the crafting system. So that'll be coming at some future point. Let's see. The map is being expanded in this next patch as well. So if you're familiar with the current map in the game, and you know where Brightmoor's at, which is over past Pinecrest. A lot of people know where Pinecrest is at, but Brightmoor's even further to the east. If you go north from Brightmoor, there's a big valley that will loop all the way over behind the mountain over into Woodhaven, and that whole area is going to be a lot of that will be all playable in the next game as well. So that'll definitely be in the next patch also. All right. That's all the content I actually have. I want to show you guys some a video now though. So Bam Bam, some of you guys will probably know Bam Bam or have played on his server. He made us a fun little video, and so I want to play the video for you. So let me play this really fast, and hopefully you guys can hear this.
Warning. Warning. Hello and welcome to another edition of Miscreated News. I'm Bam Bam, your host. On today's show, should we be worried? Reports are in of a prison break in Miscreated. Tech news next, as developers push the button on their new website. And just in time for Christmas, Miscreated announces its new range of merchandise. Senior officials are baffled today as news emerges of a prison break from Miscreated's police department. Bad Bam, a notorious killer wanted on multiple counts of murder, has escaped and is now roaming free. Bad Bam is considered to be very dangerous and players are being urged under no circumstances should they approach him. We go now live to Bam Bam, who has more on the story. Sorry guys, I was just checking out the facilities back there. Thank you Bam Bam. I'm here at police headquarters and yes, I can confirm that as of 1 o'clock this morning, Bad Bam did in fact escape from his cell. Now no one knows exactly how he did it. Poor facilities and the recent apocalypse are what's being blamed. Police officials have released these pictures saying that gas-marked bandits are on the rise and you can expect to see them more and more in the future. It's worryingly quiet here Bam Bam and recent reports indicate that it could be on its way to you, so make sure you stay safe. Thanks Bam Bam, but I think we'll be fine here. Exciting news in the world of tech as Miscreated launches its brand new website. Gone are the days of having to switch between forum, Twitter and Facebook. You can now find everything you could possibly want to see conveniently in one place. You can check out the latest patch notes, development updates, view recent community videos and pictures, and even see who's currently streaming. Its clean design, new content and intuitive layout make this your go-to place for everything Miscreated. I'll be sure to post a link in the description below. And finally, merchandise for Miscreated is now available on their website. Clothing, such as hoodies and t-shirts, are now available in a variety of different sizes, as well as mugs and bags. Information on these and many other items can now be found on their website.
Bam, bam.
Who's there?
You're mine. Is this on? Is it on? Well, hello. I'm Bad Bam. No, wait. Don't run. I'm friendly. I'm friendly. Come closer. A little closer. You want all this good stuff, right? Just a little closer. Come on. For the good stuff. Come on. It's all mine.
Well guys, I've been Bam Bam. I've been Bam Bam. And they've been Bam Bam. It really is an exciting time for Miscreated. Servers are at an all-time high. Bam Bam community server. There's lots of new cool stuff coming. You've got axes, you've got head torches, and you've got balaclavas. Just a few of the goodies we can expect to see over the coming weeks. Be sure to check out the official Miscreated website for more information. As always guys, if you like this video, please click and subscribe. If you've got any comments about what future videos you'd like to see, please leave them in the box below. Who knows, my future video could be inspired by you. Until next time guys, stay friendly.
All right. So we appreciate Bam Bam for making that for us. You can tell I think he had a lot of fun doing that. But as he mentioned in the video, we did release a new website today. It is, so if you go to miscreatedgame.com and you don't see the new website, just give it a few hours. We switched servers and everything earlier this morning. And because of that, it takes a little while for some of those to propagate across the internet. So if you go there and you don't see the new website, just try again in a few hours and you should eventually get to the new website. But it is live, it's functional. And it has, it's kind of a big social media outlet that has all the different streamers that are streaming and pictures of the week and images. It's a good news source. There's easy links for all the different social media sites on it and everything. And so definitely go check that out. And if you're interested in any of the merchandise, the merchandising store should be live if you want to buy that stuff. That's obviously completely up to you guys if you want to do that or not. But it's there. We've had people ask for it in the past. So obviously all that's completely optional. You don't have to. Okay, if you have any questions about the game, go ahead and put those in Twitch chat. And I'll spend a couple of minutes doing a Q&A if anybody has any questions. That's all the content that I had prepared for this stream, though.
I'm going to mention the fall-off ranges being adjusted.
Okay, yeah, I saw it, and I've seen this on stream, and we were talking about it in chat a few minutes ago, is kind of going through and adjusting the damage values for the different weapons again, the kind of the fall-off over range values and everything. We'll definitely be working on that again in a future update to get the kind of the whole combat system a lot more solid, a lot more predictable, and kind of tightened everything down on it. The new patch, we're in final testing now, and we'll just see how it goes. Hopefully really soon. But yeah, it's running really well. I don't think we found any big issues with the patch so far. So that's something about metal parts for bases. We actually have some upgraded parts for all the base parts in the game, but we're actually waiting for the new item system to come online to where you can actually be able to smelt metal and so on to get the metal for those. But yeah, we actually will have some upgraded base parts, so those will be coming as well. Molotov cocktails do damage to structures. Yes, eventually. Right now, explosives don't do any damage to walls currently, and so you just kind of have to hatch it through them. But that will be something that will be coming online. The white flickering is fixed in this patch. We apologize for that. Unfortunately, that was a bug that we weren't able to fix ourselves, and so that's fixed in the next version of the SDK. So in this next patch, it's already fixed. So we do apologize for that. We know that that affected a lot of people. A female character. We still want to do a female character. We definitely want to do a female character, but it's on hold until we get all the new animations and everything locked down, and then we'll go over and do it all for the female character as well. That way, when we change stuff, we don't have to change it twice right now. So we apologize. We know there's a lot of people that want to play a female character in game. Let's see. Loot's so hard to find. It's completely random, and if you're in a busy city with a lot of players that have been going through it, you probably won't find as much loot because of the way our loot system works. So it's best to move on to another city or another area outside of a city. Okay, geez, a lot of stuff here. I'm just kind of glancing through here, so I apologize if I'm missing your questions. Yeah, so the disappearing weapon bugs, those we do know there's some issues with the inventory with items disappearing, and as I mentioned, the whole inventory system is being redone, and so all that is going to be gone and replaced with a new system. I know some people have recommended that if you have a weapon that has a magazine or a scope on it, what they recommend doing is, if you remember, before you log out, remove the scope and the magazine from your weapon and place them in your backpack first. And then they should be a lot more likely to persist. So if you do have like the sniper rifle with the scope that's hard to find, remove the sniper rifle, put it in your backpack, and then log out.
You can mention the changes to the vehicles that might stop bouncing.
Oh yeah, I just got reminded. So there was a change also made to vehicles that will help greatly reduce the chance of them bouncing as well. And you'll actually notice they behave differently now a little bit when you drive them as well because of that change, especially like on sharp turns. But that change is in there to help prevent the bouncing.
Lightsaber.
Base building. The only change to base building in this patch is just adding these, the barbed wire. So that's all. Let's see what else. Any plans for bows? Not yet. The bow's kind of on hold until we get the new, the simulated first person and all the animations done and everything. Then we'll go back and loop around to the bow. The bow's still in the game. It's still unmodeled. We're just waiting for the animations and mechanics behind it. All right, a couple more questions here, guys, and then we'll go ahead and close the stream down. Server restarts. If it's a planned server restart, there's supposed to be a message if you're on an official server. The rented or hosted servers, I'm not sure if they play one or not. There are definitely times though the servers just crash, and that's we're working on that as well. But yeah, if it's a server that's a rented or hosted server you're playing on, the owner of the server could probably talk to i3D and see if there's a way of doing a warning message essentially. I mentioned an ET on this patch. We're in final testing right now. So we'll just see how it goes. Do you guys plan on taking this into a third-person shooting type game ever? Probably not. If you're used to some of the more arcade style games that have the crosshair in the middle of the screen and it's always deadly accurate, if that's what you're asking about, no. That isn't the point of the game. We want people to go more and focus more on tactics in the game than just kind of a run and gun style game. So the blueprint drop rates, we've talked internally about that. What we'll probably do with that is people that have rented a server, we'll let them go in and adjust some of those drop rate times. So if on a rented server, so like for example, if you played on Bam Bam server, if he wanted to, he would be able to, not this patch, but in probably the next one, he'd be able to go in and up those spawn rates and increase the likelihood of those dropping to kind of help. Okay, a couple more questions, and I'm going to go ahead and close. Let's see here. I'm just kind of glancing quickly, see what I've missed. Animations for eating. Yeah, there's a lot of animations we're going to add. We've been having to do a lot of work because of the new simulated first-person system, the new raise and lower system. So there's a lot of these that have gone in, and we'll definitely be adding more animations concerning eating, and also for emotes in the game as well. We'll be adding some emotes in the game, so you can communicate without talking through basic emotes. So those will be coming in as well at sometime soon. Binoculars we're going to add at some point as well. Yes. Let's see. Prone. We started working on a prone system quite a while ago, and we just need to get back to it now. As I mentioned, there's so many. The animators have been swamped trying to get all these new animation systems in, and prone is definitely something we want to put back in the game. Yes. If you have the mouse scaling issue, there's actually a workaround in this next patch as well. But for now, if you start the game in full screen or you go into full screen, then Alt-Tab and come back into the game, or Alt-Enter and then Alt-Enter again. And that'll fix the scaling issue of the mouse for now. Glowing loot. No, we're not going to have glowing loot in the game. The loot will always be just like this. If you're new to the game, you get used to it really fast. We also want to make it to where if you're inside the house, a lot of times you have to have the choice of whether you want to pull out a flashlight or not, or wait for your eyes to adjust with the eye adaptation. But there are no plans to add glowing loot. When are we putting the doors back? That's a good question. That will probably be something we'll look at. After the new item system's added, it'll cut down on the network traffic a lot and the network load, and also the load on the servers. And we'll probably look at adding more AI at that point and getting a lot more AI in the game. And then once the AI is in, then we'll probably look at adding stuff like doors back in. The problem with the doors is the default way the doors are implemented in the CryEngine SDK are really inefficient, like really bad. And so we removed them, and we'll have to implement them again in a way that's a lot more efficient. Clan war, I'm not sure what you're asking, unless it's like a friendly fire among clan members or something. If so, there isn't any plans to do that. Character customization, head, body, etc. Again, something we do want to add in the future. Yep. We'll probably work on that along with the female model. It makes sense to do that at the same time as the female model. Weapon silencers, possibly we'll do that. So I don't think there's any reason we won't or shouldn't. So we'll probably look at that. We might just go with crafted silencers first. So we'll just have to kind of see on that one. Let's see. Laydown, it's the prone question from before. It's just animation related. No changes to clan system in this next patch, no. Okay, I'm just reading through, see if there's anything I missed here. Storage boxes, I mentioned earlier, that'll come with a new item system. And a military backpack, I'm not sure if you're asking for a bigger backpack or not. But if we add a bigger backpack, that'll have to wait until the item system. The issue right now is we are trying to control the amount of items in the game. It can already get pretty nuts as far as for the total amount of items that are in the game. As you run around, the items are spawning all over around you in houses and everything. And so we need to wait until the new item system's in that will make those a lot more efficient. And then we'll look at increasing sizes again. Name tags for players? No, there won't be name tags for players. There won't be name tags for clan members either. The best thing to do is just learn what your teammates look like and coordinate with them. Okay, air vehicles. I see stuff about helicopters and stuff. We may add something like that later. And the map's 8 kilometers by 8 kilometers, which is probably about the minimum you would want for an air vehicle. So I don't know if it makes sense or not. We'd have to just kind of see on that one. Clan VoIP or radio? No. It's all just like in-game VoIP, just like you were standing there in the real world. There isn't. There won't be like a clan-specific channel. If we add radios in the future, and we've talked about radios, then there would be a way of tuning those to particular channels. So if you and your clanmates had radios on the same channel, you could talk to your clanmates. But if somebody else had a radio on the same channel, they'd be able to hear the conversation as well. Guns to vehicles. One thing we would like to add is shooting from vehicles. As far as for turrets on vehicles, I don't think we've really discussed that, but definitely being able to shoot from vehicles is on our list. That's been on our list for a long time. New design for the inventory. No, this is the design. If you have concepts, feel free to post them, though, and we'll take a look at them. But this is the design of the inventory. We wanted to keep it nice and clean. Working gallows. We definitely want to add those working gallows. So I will say one of the things that is on our list to do is an entire incapacitation system. So you can knock players out, drag players behind vehicles, the whole thing. And part of that will be able to essentially hang players as well. Yep. So I don't want to use this as an excuse, but keep in mind that we're a small team compared to the other survival teams that are out there, and we do our best to get things done as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And most people on the team work a lot more than 40 hours a week because they love working on the game. So we're doing our best, and we'll get stuff in the game as quickly as we can. And there's a lot of stuff we want to add. We'll be able to spawn at the base. Possibly in a future patch, we've talked about being able to spawn at your base, yes. Programming languages as C++. Yeah, Flag, keep in mind, though, that we have about 10 full-time employees, not 40. So we really are a small team. We have some people that work part-time and a couple of contractors, but the full-time people, there's about 10 to 12 or so of us is all working on the game. So like I said, I'm not using that as an excuse. Just be aware that it does take us a little longer than a team that has 40 or up to 80 people on their team. 2 primary weapons. There's essentially a cheat in the game where you can do that. Let me see if I can pick up a backpack here. I'll probably have to exit game mode. There's this issue in the editor where I can't pick up stuff twice. And most people figure this out pretty fast. That if you have a primary weapon, you can drag it inside of your backpack like this. And then that allows you to pick up another primary weapon. So now you have these 2 primary weapons. So that's kind of a workaround for now, but that's what this slot here is for, number 4. Is eventually you won't be able to drag primary weapons into your inventory, and you'll have just 2 primary slots instead to switch between. Because we don't want people to be able to carry around 8 weapons in their backpack. So you'll have to have a choice of which 2 you want to carry. DirectX 12 is completely up to Crytek. We use their SDK, and they're the ones responsible for the rendering engine. And we haven't really heard much about what they're working on as far as for DirectX 12. I would have to believe that they're definitely working on it, just like all the other big game engine companies are, but they just haven't released any information yet. But as soon as it's available, we would release it and roll it out into a patch. I would definitely love to play with DirectX 12. All right. Yeah, the food and water. There's a lot of things with the spawn system. I was responding to the question asking about there's a lot of food and water in the game. There really is, and one of the things that will help with that over time is as we add more and more unique items. Pretty much every patch we add more stuff to the game, and so as there's more items spawning into the world, then it dilutes that stuff even more that's already in the game. And then at some point we'll go through and probably revisit all of the spawn locations and systems in the game once we get enough. Yep. But yeah, food and water is definitely pretty easy to find. We agree with you there. Let's see. Any new types of zombies? None. That'll be coming out soon yet. We've talked about it a little bit. We're in the negotiation phases of adding a brand new AI system to the game that's cutting edge AI system. And as soon as there's any news there that we can announce, we'll definitely add that. But that's one of the reasons we haven't done much with AI in a while, is because we're hoping to get the new AI system in the game, which will drastically change things. Hunting, fishing, and farming, yes, in a future update. Most of those are waiting for the new item system. Yep. Yeah, shooting through windows in houses, we think we know what's causing that, and we just need to figure out how to fix it, essentially. So yeah, we know that's an issue. Map expansions, I mentioned a minute ago. Yes, this patch will have a map expansion further north. Yep. Yeah, mutants, not zombies. Yep. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and close the stream, guys. I appreciate your time. But like I mentioned, this next patch there is a lot of stuff that will be introduced. There will be, I think there's around, I don't know the exact count, probably 50 plus items that'll be coming in this patch, roughly. Several of those will be variations of existing items and coloring options and the camo system. But there's still several new things that are coming in the patch as well. So you'll see a lot of new stuff come in, a lot of variation in the way players look as well, which always helps to identify. And let's see. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, there's a new weapon system we're working on. We're not ready to release information about that quite yet, but there's some stuff we'll be adding soon. That'll be a lot of fun. Yep. All right, guys. Thank you for your time. Just if you haven't followed us yet, follow us on our Twitter feed. That's generally where we announce a lot of the information. It's also where we'll put status updates, like if the servers go down or rebooting servers. A lot of times we'll put it there, or just kind of general information. It's the quickest way for us to get it out to everybody. And that's just Miscreated Game on Twitter. So I'd recommend that, if you follow any social media site, to follow that one. And there's several of us that post on it from the team, and so it's usually pretty active and pretty up to date. All right, thank you for your time, everybody, and definitely watch the Twitter stream. If we can get the new patch out soon, we'll definitely be announcing that on Twitch, not on Twitch, but on Twitter as well. So just keep an eye on that. All right, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Have a good evening.